Hello everyone and welcome back to History Time. Ever since we put up the last episode on Avadi, I have been flooded with requests from people asking me to put up the history of their localities. I just want to tell them that all this takes time. Research takes time. Very often you don't get enough stories to put up an episode. But I promise you that I will take notes and I will come back when I get sufficient material on each of the neighborhoods. But today's episode is on a place, on a word, on a phrase that I have been researching on for quite some time and finally was able to put it all together. Round Tana. It is a very commonly used phrase in all of Tamil Nadu. Wherever you have a circle around which the traffic moves, we call it a Round Tana. What is the source of this phrase? That is what we are going to unravel in today's episode. The first mention of the word Round Tana I found in a commission of enquiry that was appointed to look into postal delivery services in South India. That was in 1852. The commission studied how effective postal deliveries were and came to the conclusion that lots of improvements were possible. It recommended routes through which bullock carts carrying letters could travel in the city of Madras, and the first route was from the General Post Office on First Line Beach, which is today's Rajaji Salai, to places, hold your breath, which the report says were far away from the city. And what were these places that were far away from the city? Mount Road, Mylapore, Siddharthripet, Santhom, and then far, far away across the Adyar, the locality of Adyar itself. In those days, those were all far-flung outposts of the metropolis. This report recommends that the first stop on this route should be at the circular Thana on Mount Road. From that, we realize that there was a round police station at that particular intersection. Now, how do we know that it was a police station and not something else? In the 1860s, there is yet another report which talks about how the Madras Corporation had made it compulsory for people to register births and deaths. Registrars were appointed in various localities of the city at a salary of rupees 30 per month. But these people operated from their own houses. And therefore, most people found it very difficult to find out where the registrar's offices were. And they just overlooked registering births or deaths in their families. To overcome this, the government came to a conclusion that the registrars would work from the local police stations. When I say police stations, don't run away with the idea that these were red-colored buildings like the way you see them today. They were all just platforms outside shops and houses at various places. In fact, in the 1860s, there were no markers for a police station, and people found it as difficult as they did in finding a registrar's office. The government therefore came to a conclusion that it would erect teak wood posts and have oil-lit lamps on them to indicate that this is where a police station was. And then it also published a list of police stations where registrar offices would be. And all these police stations are identified by the word Thana. It talks about Flower Bazaar Police Thana, it talks about the Mylapore Thana, it talks about a Pursavakam Thana, and then it also talks about the Round Tana in Mount Road. The word Thana itself is very old. It goes back to Mughal times. It indicated where the security police was located. And therefore, over a period of time, Round Tana became Round Tana. By the 1880s, we find that the police station or the circular police station was not at that spot any longer. It had probably shifted to the entrance of Walaja Road, where even today we have a police station said to be one of the oldest in the city. In 1887, the Golden Jubilee of Queen Victoria was celebrated all over the British Empire. At that time, the Maharaja of Vijayanagaram erected a fountain to commemorate this event at where the Round Tana was. It was described as a square Indo-Saracenic edifice with water flowing through it for the benefit of horse carriages which came into that area. That was the marker for the Round Tana till 1910. In 1910, a statue for Lord Ripon was added fronting the Vijayanagaram fountain. I have already spoken about the Ripon statue in my episode on Ripon buildings. But suffice it to say that the Ripon statue was subscribed to by Indians and not by the British. The British sculptor Francis Derwent Wood completed the job. The statue came here, and then it was erected on Mount Road and unveiled by the governor, Lord Pentland. It remained in position till the 1930s, when following the outbreak of Second World War, the statue was first shifted to the entrance of Blackers Road and finally moved to Ripon buildings itself. The Vijayanagaram fountain had gone completely dry and had become a urinal, and therefore the Commissioner of the Corporation, J.P.L. Shenoy, ordered that it be demolished. The Hindu newspaper protested strongly because it feared that the corporation would construct urinals on the spot. And sure enough, it was right. The corporation did construct toilets over there. And under the toilets, it constructed an air raid shelter. Remember, this was the time of the Second World War, and people needed areas to which they could flee in case bombing happened. The air raid shelter and the toilets continued till 1956. And that year, the Corporation of Madras decided that it would build a subway to ease traffic congestion on Mount Road at a cost of rupees 10 lakhs. The subway would have three paths. One would start from the new Elphinstone Theatre on the side of the Hindu, and that theatre doesn't stand any longer. The other would come from Government Estate, which is where the multi-speciality super referral hospital stands today, and that was the second entrance. The third one would come from Ellis Road. In the subway itself, the corporation planned several shops, and in the middle, it planned a circular lawn. That was the idea. But construction did not begin till 1965. We must remember that 10 lakhs was a large amount of money then, and the corporation didn't have funds. Finally, in 1965, work began on tunneling the subway. A large crowd collected to witness the work that was going on. The work was completed in 1967, and the subway was inaugurated by M. Bhaktavatsalam, the then Chief Minister of Madras State. The subway has continued, but the shops were given up. In fact, I don't think shops were constructed there at all. Above the shops, a car parking facility for 40 vehicles was planned, but it had a very short while to live. Congress government had a very short while to live because in 1967 elections were conducted and the DMK swept to power. On 1st January 1968, a statue for the then Chief Minister, C.N. Annadurai, was unveiled by Dr. Sir A. Lakshmanaswamy Mudaliar, Vice Chancellor of the Madras University and noted gynecologist, on this very spot above the subway. At that time, it created quite a controversy. Was it right that a living Indian should have a statue for himself? People feared that evil days would come on the Chief Minister. And when he passed away a few months later, those who had felt that something wrong would happen felt fully justified. But what everybody had forgotten was that this was not the first instance of a living Indian getting a statue for himself. That was K. Kamraj. In the 1960s, while he was Chief Minister, a statue for him had been erected at the entrance of the Gymkhana Club and unveiled by the Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Kamraj lived long and died only in 1975. But the Anna statue came to define the Round Tana thereafter. And there it remains. The garden around it has shrunk over a period of time, but the subway underneath has flourished and still continues to be used. As per a report by journalist Deepa Ramakrishnan in the Hindu, written a couple of years ago, it offers its services to 15,000 pedestrians each day. The word Round Tana became current coin as far as local language is concerned. and any roundabout in Chennai and for that matter in Tamil Nadu is referred to as a Round Tana. Can you guess how many Round Tanas are there in just Chennai city? As per corporation records, there are 120 of them. It's a wonder, isn't it, that the Tana, the Round Tana that gave the name, has not existed in more than 150 years, but its name is still commemorated in Round Tana. Those then are the wonders of history. I'll be back with you with a new episode soon. Bye for now.